Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. First session of 18th Lok Sabha begins. Prime Minister Narendra Modi takes oath as a member of parliament for the third time, along with newly elected MPs. At least 19 police officers and several civilians killed following attacks on police posts, churches and a synagogue in Russia's North Caucasus Republic of Dagestan. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says intense fighting against Hamas in Gaza Strip coming to an end, but war will continue. And in what is seen as a revenge match of ODI World Cup, India is set to face Australia in Super 8 at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. The first session of India's lower house of parliament after the 2024 general elections began on Monday with the observance of silence, marking the solemn occasion of the first sitting of 18th Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took oath as a member of the 18th Lok Sabha. This is the third term of PM Modi as a member of the Lok Sabha. He retained the Varanasi seat in the general elections, which he has been winning since 2014. As a leader of the House, he was the first one to take oath today. Pro Tem Speaker Bhatrwari Mehtab administered the oath to Prime Minister Modi. This was followed by the oath of the panel of chairpersons appointed to assist Pro Tem Speaker in running the proceedings of the Lok Sabha until the election of the Speaker. BJP MPs Radha Mohan Singh and Fagan Singh Kulaste took oaths as members of the chairperson panel. Union Ministers Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Nitin Gadkari, Manohar Lal, Piyush Goyal and others took oaths as members of Lok Sabha. Addressing the media ahead of session, Prime Minister Modi said that the government will work 3 times harder in its third term.
चलाने के लिए बहुमत होता है, लेकिन देश चलाने के लिए सहमति बहुत जरूरी होती है और इसलिए हमारा निरंतर प्रयास रहेगा कि हर किसी की सहमति के साथ, हर किसी को साथ लेकर के मां भारती की सेवा करें, 140 करोड़ देशवासियों की आशा आकांक्षाओं को परिपूर्ण करें.
Underlining the 50th anniversary of the emergency, he called the period a blot on democracy.
जो लोग भारत की लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं पे निष्ठा रखते हैं, उनके लिए 25 जून न भूलने वाला दिवस है. कल 25 जून को भारत के लोकतंत्र में जो काला धब्बा लगा था, उसके 50 वर्ष हो रहे हैं. भारत की नई पीढ़ी इस बात को कभी नहीं भूलेगी कि भारत के संविधान को पूरी तरह नकार दिया गया था, देश को जेल खाना बना दिया गया था, लोकतंत्र को पूरी तरह दबोच दिया गया था. इमरजेंसी के ये 50 साल इस संकल्प के हैं कि हम गौरव के साथ हमारे संविधान की रक्षा करते हुए, भारत के लोकतंत्र, लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं की रक्षा करते हुए देशवासी संकल्प लेंगे कि भारत में फिर कभी कोई ऐसी हिम्मत नहीं करेगा जो 50 साल पहले की गई थी और लोकतंत्र पे काला धब्बा लगा दिया गया था.
President Draupadi Murmu administered the oath of office to Bhartrihari Mehtab as Speaker Pro Tem of the 18th Lok Sabha earlier today at a ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. On the occasion, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi were also present. Meanwhile, during the session, the election of new Lok Sabha Speaker will be held on Wednesday, while President Draupadi Murmu will address the joint sitting of both houses of Parliament on Thursday. The session of the Rajya Sabha will commence on Thursday, 27th of June. The Parliament session will conclude on 3rd of July. And DD India's Dibyendu Model joins us live for more on the story. Dibyendu, good afternoon. First session of 18th Lok Sabha begins today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with newly elected members of Parliament took oath. What are you getting for us?
Siddharth, that's right. The 18th session of the Lok Sabha began today. And as per the customs, you've seen the Prime Minister addressing the Lok Sabha, in fact, the media, before taking oath and going inside the Lok Sabha here in the new Parliament building. So, of course, this is significant and what we can get as of now is that all the cabinet ministers, the Minister of State of Independent Charge as well as the Ministers of State have already taken oath. The parliamentarians are currently taking oath inside the Lok Sabha, which is being administered by the pro-term Speaker, who was sworn in by the President early this morning. So, of course, 208 parliamentarians will be taking oath by today evening. And the oath ceremony of all the parliamentarians is likely to conclude by tomorrow evening. So, of course, the first 2 days will be of the oath-taking ceremonies of all the 543 MPs who have been elected in the recently concluded general elections. So, of course, the first 2 days will be occupied with these particular oath-taking ceremony, after which, as we had been saying, that the election of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha will take place. That's an important development that we will be keeping, we will be tracking and bringing you latest updates on that, because a lot of political, developments likely to follow with the elections of the Lok Sabha Speaker, following which, as per the customs and traditions of the Indian parliamentary democracy, the President of India will be addressing the joint session of both the houses, the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha, which will officially mark the beginning of the 18th Lok Sabha session with the newly elected Lok Sabha Speaker. So this is the lineup to the next 3 to 4 days of what is expected out of the 18th Lok Sabha. Back to you.
Okay, Dibyendu, any key topics or bills scheduled during this session?
Well, Siddharth, not really as of now, because this is an inaugural session. Special session is what is officially being termed as. This session is specifically called in to bring for the administration of oath to all the elected members of Parliament, also the election of the Speaker and the joint session of Parliament, where President Draupadi Murmu will be addressing the joint session of Parliament, after which the next couple of days will be on the discussion and debate on the President's address and a Thanksgiving on the President's address, which will be where we will see concluding remarks by the Prime Minister and the Leader of Opposition. Of course, that will also be interesting to see who the Leader of Opposition is elected in this particular 18th Lok Sabha, given the fact that the Congress now has 99 seats in this 18th Lok Sabha. So, of course, you remember Congress's CWC had passed a resolution saying that Rahul Gandhi should become the Leader of Opposition, but whether Rahul Gandhi is willing to take up that job is, of course, we'll have to wait and watch for an official confirmation from the Congress. But, of course, the Leader of the House in the Lok Sabha is, of course, the Prime Minister. So, the Prime Minister will be giving his Thanksgiving note to the presidential address as the key speaker when the Parliament will be debating and discussing on the President's speech after the President delivers her speech on Thursday. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much for all those updates, Dibyendu. We'll keep taking updates from you. India's Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar extended greeting on the occasion of the 12th Passport Seva Divas. India's Ministry of External Affairs commended the relentless efforts of the Passport Authorities of India for the continuous improvements and innovations implemented in the Passport Seva system aimed at enhancing the overall user experience and reducing processing times. Dr. S. Jaishankar was on a day-long visit to the United Arab Emirates on Sunday, during which he met UAE counterpart Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi. Both sides held productive and deep conversations on ever-growing comprehensive strategic partnership. Jaishankar appreciated the discussion and his insights on regional and global issues. He also joined the international yoga enthusiasts at Louvre in Abu Dhabi as they celebrated the International Day of Yoga 2024 in the UAE. Jaishankar also visited the Baps Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. During his visit, the visit to the first traditional Hindu stone temple in the Middle East underscores the growing culture and diplomatic ties between India and the United Arab Emirates. Baps, which stands for Bocha Sanvasi Akshar Purushottam Swami Narayanan Sanstha, is a prominent Hindu denomination with a global presence. Let's take a look at other stories making news. Chandrababu Naidu, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, chaired a cabinet meeting at his secretariat for the first time after assuming charge. The agenda includes approving the initial decisions regarding increase in pension, repeal of Land Titling Act. I beg your pardon. As Delhi Water Minister Atishi's indefinite hunger strike entered its fourth day, she said it would continue until 28 lakh Delhiites got water. Delhi has been facing varying levels of water shortfall over the past month, with the first spell clogged towards the end of May. The Central Bureau of Investigation has registered an FIR as it started the probe into alleged irregularities in the NEET UG exams. The 7-member committee has also been formed to oversee transparency and look into the functioning of NTA to meet today. The committee is led by former ISRO chief Dr. K. Radhakrishnan. The city of Kozhikode in North Kerala, known for its rich cultural heritage, was officially declared as India's first UNESCO City of Literature on Sunday. The state government announced that from coming year, June 23 will be celebrated as the City of Literature Day of Kozhikode. And still to come on DD India News Hour. 16 people reported dead after the fire breaks out at a lithium battery factory near Seoul. Stay tuned for more details. Ministers of Foreign Affairs Council of European Union meets today in Luxembourg. And we tell you all about what is happening in New Caledonia. You stay tuned.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, DC.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. At least 16 people have died in a fire accident in South Korea, reports the Yonhap news agency. The devastating fire broke out at a lithium battery factory near Seoul, causing explosions at the storage unit on Monday morning. 67 workers were present at the factory during the time of accident. Search and rescue efforts are underway and the fire is almost under control now. Meanwhile, South Korea's Interior Minister Lee Sang-min assures full support to the victims. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te put out a statement calling China and autocracy as real evil after China threatened to impose the death penalty to die-hard Taiwan independent separatists. He said that China has no right to sanction Taiwan's people.
I also want to call on China to face up to the existence of the Republic of China and have exchanges and dialogue with Taiwan's democratically elected legitimate government. This is the only correct way to increase the welfare of people on both sides of the strait. If this is not done, relations between Taiwan and China will only become more and more estranged.
And a top US general has warned of a wider conflict if Israel launches an offensive in Lebanon. This comes as tensions between Israel and Hezbollah continue to rise. While acknowledging Israel's right to defend itself, Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman C.Q. Brown warned that a broader conflict can draw in Hezbollah's backer Iran. Last week, Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah, he said that nowhere in Israel would be safe if a full-fledged war breaks out between the two sides. Border skirmishes between Hezbollah and Israel have been common since the start of Israel-Hamas conflict. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that while the phase of intense fighting against Hamas in the Gaza Strip was coming to an end, the conflict would not end till Hamas's rule in the Palestinian enclave ends. Listen in.
If
there is an agreement, it will be an agreement according to our terms, and our terms are not to end the war, to leave Gaza and leave Hamas as it is. After the intense phase is finished, we will have the possibility to move part of the forces north, and we will do this, first and foremost for defensive purposes, and secondly, to bring our evacuated residents home.
At least 19 people, including policemen, were killed as gunmen attacked synagogues and churches in Russia's Dagestan region on Sunday. An Orthodox priest was among those killed. The simultaneous attacks happened across the cities of Doordarshan and Machakala. 5 gunmen were also killed. No group has claimed responsibility for the attacks, which took place 3 months after 145 people were killed in an attack claimed by Islamic State on a concert hall near Moscow. Meanwhile, Dagestan began a 3-day of mourning on Monday.
Subsequent operational search and investigative measures will be carried out until all participants in these sleeper cells are identified. And of course, they had been preparing, including from abroad. I would like to ask all of you, dear Dagestanis, dear guests of the Republic, to remain calm. The situation is now under the control of the government authorities and law enforcement agencies.
Meanwhile, the governor of Dagestan region, Sergei Melikov, visited the church and house where the killed Orthodox priest Nikolai Kotelnikov used to live in the Dagestani town of Dobyant. Melikov earlier called the incident a terror attack. Meanwhile, in the ongoing conflict, at least 3 people were injured in a Russian strike on Ukraine's Odessa on Monday. Earlier, several Russian strikes hit Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. A person was killed and 10 people were wounded in the Kharkiv attacks. The regional governor said a school was hit along with a private home where the casualties had occurred. The governor added Russia appeared to have used glide bombs in the attack. Russia has said that it would seek a response from the international community after the attack on Crimean Peninsula on Sunday. Russia blamed the United States for the attack. It said missiles equipped with cluster warheads were shot down by air defense systems. It added Washington was directly responsible in the attack, as US specialists had said the missiles' flight coordinates on basis of information from US spy satellites. The Kremlin stated that President Vladimir Putin has been in constant contact with the military since the attack. All right, and Dasha Chernyshova joins us from Moscow to give more details on this. Dasha, several police officers killed and multiple people injured in the attack. Could you update us on the death toll, and has anyone claimed responsibility for the attacks yet?
Well, speaking of the situation in the Republic of Dagestan, indeed, we are now hearing from the Russian Investigative Committee that the death toll has increased to 19 people. That includes 15 law enforcement officers as well as 4 civilians whose lives have been claimed. But we are talking here about 2 separate acts of terrorism, one taking place in the city of Derbent, another taking place in the regional capital of Makhachkala. And the understanding is that those attacks could have been connected, but the investigators are yet to establish that. 5 militants have been killed and eliminated as a result of the counter-terrorism operation that has been in the region. It has now been abolished, and the head of the Dagestan Republic has arrived into Derbent. He is now at the site where these incidents took place. But keep in mind that the Russian officials all say that these incidents are in place in order to destabilize the internal situation in the country, which is multi-ethnic, multi-confessional, multicultural, and especially in the region of Dagestan. The attacks have been carried out on the day when Russian Orthodox Christians mark and celebrate the Holy Trinity Sunday, but also the attacks have been carried out at the Orthodox churches as well as the synagogue. And Dagestan is a predominantly Muslim region, so many issues are intertwined here, and the authorities are calling for one thing, that is calm, restraint, and not to allow the forces who they say are trying to sow discord among the peoples to achieve.
Okay, Dasha, several Russian strikes also hit Ukraine's eastern city of Kharkiv, in which a person was killed and 10 people were wounded in the attacks. Any update on that?
Well, we are yet to hear from the Russian MOD on this situation on the Kharkiv direction. What we know to this moment is that Russia has no goal of taking the city of Kharkiv. Russia is trying to create the so-called buffer zone to make sure that the border regions such as Belgrade, Bryansk and Kursk are safe from the Ukrainian shelling. And this is especially important for Moscow because of the permission that the Ukrainian armed forces got from Washington, for instance, to use the high precision and long-range weapons to actually attack targets deeper inside Russia. One such example is the incident in Sevastopol, where children are among the dead and the number of injured has increased 150. So certainly for Russia it is important to carry out strikes that will be reducing the combat potential of the Ukrainian armed forces and destroying the positions where the weapons supplied from the West are being stored.
All right, we'll keep taking updates from you on this, Dasha. Thank you so much for your analysis. The ministers of the Foreign Affairs Council of the European Union are meeting today in Luxembourg for the June edition of the meeting. The meeting is being chaired by the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Josep Borrell. The European Union Foreign Affairs Ministers are discussing the Russian aggression against Ukraine after an informal exchange of views with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, via video conference. The meeting will also circle around discussions on the Middle East, Western Balkans, among others. Ahead of the meeting, EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell said he would put forward a proposal on how to avoid any member state blocking the use of proceeds from frozen Russian financial funds to support Ukraine.
We have these revenues coming from the frozen assets, and we have to look for a way in order to use them, avoiding any kind of blockage. We have a process in order to make this work quickly, The first tranche of money will come next week, next week in July, yes. The second will come some month later. This money cannot get stuck. It has to be used. And we have a legal procedure in order to avoid any kind of blockage.
And EU countries on Monday agreed on a new package of sanctions against Russia. EU's 14th package of sanctions against Russia includes a ban on reloading Russian liquefied natural gas in the EU for further shipment to third countries. It also offers the EU more tools to crack down on circumvention of sanctions, as well as targeting an additional 116 individuals and entities for actions against Ukraine. All right, and William Denslow is joining us from Brussels to give more information on this. Hello, William. EU countries agreed on a new package of sanctions against Russia. It includes restrictive measures on additional 116 individuals and entities as well. What updates do you have on this?
Yeah, absolutely. This 14th round of sanctions really focused on Russia's energy sector, of course, so important for Russia's economy and for its war economy, which is a major reason why it was important for European nations to target liquefied natural gas. Now, as you mentioned, this pertains to future investments in it as well as exports of it going forward. Now, liquefied natural gas really is the hallmark, the top line section of this 14th round of sanctions, but there are a number of other issues and other number of items included in these sanctions as well. Included in this items such as targeting specific vessels for the first time, according to the European Union. Initially, 27 of these vessels have been targeted. Now, according to the EU, these vessels can be used for a range of things, whether it's the transport of military equipment, whether it's illegal grain taken from Ukraine, as they put it, or indeed used in Russia's energy sector as well. You mentioned the individuals and entities, 116 on this list. Also, efforts by the EU to go after Russia's financial messaging system, equivalent to the SWIFT system used in places like Europe. So a number of issues targeted, as well as refining a few existing sanctions, such as restrictions on Russian diamonds as well.
Okay, William, you've just mentioned that how important these things are for the Russian economy, but still, how do you analyze the impact of these sanctions? Can you just tell us about it in depth?
Absolutely. Well, the message from the European Union is more needs to be done. We've heard from Josep Borrell, the EU's foreign policy chief, who said that the fact that Vladimir Putin, Russia's president, has just visited Pyongyang in North Korea, he says that shows to the EU that Russia is in this war in Ukraine for the long term. He says that is why the EU needs to do more to keep up financing and keep supplying Ukraine with sufficient investment as this war becomes increasingly protracted. That is why we've seen this latest round of sanctions, to try and hurt the purse strings of Moscow. But we're also seeing on the flip side of that more efforts by the EU to try and provide more financing for Kiev, and a huge part of that is trying to use parts of the frozen Russian assets that equate to over $200 billion US, trying to at least use the proceeds from those assets to help finance Kiev going forward.
All right, thank you so much, William, for giving us those details and for your analysis as well. New Caledonia's jailed pro-independence leader, Christian Tien, was extradited along with 6 others, inciting violent protests in the French Pacific Territory once again. Protesters had set fire to the town hall in the Comac commune and destroyed areas in Pita. The protests began in May this year and after a French reform vote allowing French residents of the territory voting rights. While natives fear this will dilute the impact of their votes and demand for independence. As campaigning enters its final phase in France, officials fear for civil unrest and protests in the upcoming elections. France will go to polls a little before the Paris Olympics 2024. This comes after President Emmanuel Macron announced the dissolution of the National Assembly earlier this month. Macron has confirmed that he will stay in office till the completion of his term in 2027, irrespective of the outcome of the elections. Bringing hopes for a faster European Union integration, North Macedonia gets a new nationalist-dominated government. Prime Minister, his party won general elections in May this year. The ruling coalition comprises of VMRO, DPMNE, the Albanian Alliance, VLAN, VREDI and ZNAM. Mikowski, who will serve his first term as premier, said that it was the time to roll up the sleeves and start solving problems in the country. He added that his 20-minister government will start giving immediate results. His party has been in opposition since 2017. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman condemns indie bloc silence as the death toll in Kallakurichi Hooch tragedy rises to 58. And we give you all the weather updates from various parts of the world.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bhardwaj. A quick recap of the headlines. First session of 18th Lok Sabha begins. Prime Minister Narendra Modi takes oath as Member of Parliament for the third time along with newly elected MPs. At least 19 police officers and several civilians killed following attacks on police posts, churches and a synagogue in Russia's North Caucasus Republic of Dagestan. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says intense fighting against Hamas in Gaza Strip coming to an end, but war will continue. And dynamic changes in weather patterns have gained frequency and point to an alarming situation across the world due to the ill effects of climate change. DD India's Antara Sinha gives you an insight.
Extreme weather events have upended normal life in vast swathes across the globe. Excessive heat has millions under warnings in the US and Europe, while torrential rainfall has inundated large parts in China and Europe. From the US East Coast to the West Coast, heat wave has caused people to resort to water fountains for respite. And in Europe, the heat wave is breaking all records. Sicilians were seen grabbing their semi-frozen granita, fanning their heat wave-stricken sunburnt bodies as they tackled the worst heat ever. While Romanians have had various code reds issued over the past days and have been advised to avoid outdoor activities. Summer heat has returned to parts of Spain, prompting a heat alert for the south where temperatures reached 39 degrees Celsius. Adding to the challenges, in California, a swift-moving wildfire that began mid-June took a wild turn overnight, affecting over 12,000 acres of land, prompting immediate evacuations. Coming to Asia, China issued a red alert seeing low temperatures, excessive rainfall and major sandstorms gripping its various regions. While in the southwestern regions, landslides triggered by torrential rains have prompted rescue and evacuations. As parts of US reel under heat, there is a stark contrast in its midwestern state of Iowa, where over 1 million are under flood warnings, with many townships inundated. In Switzerland as well, flash floods clubbed with landslides have affected daily life, causing deaths. Down in East African country Somalia, devastating flash floods transformed streets into waterways. The sudden deluge, residents say, has caused significant damage to properties and infrastructure. India's north, west and parts of south have suffered heat wave, and northeastern state of Assam has been reeling under floods as rivers have swelled up due to incessant rains. Antara Sinha for DD India.
And in India's state Maharashtra, Mumbai and its adjoining areas are witnessing intermittent heavy rainfall. The regional weather agency has issued alerts for various parts of the state and cautioned fishermen not to venture along and off the coastal area. The monsoon in Mumbai has got momentum in last few days. Heavy rainfall and thunderstorm alerts have been issued for several areas of Maharashtra, including Thane and Palghar. Yellow alert has been extended to other areas of Maharashtra like Nasik, Vidarbha. The rain is providing much needed relief from the high temperature experience in recent weeks following a series of heat waves over the past few months. Meanwhile, air quality index has also been improved and now it falls in good category. All right, and DD India's Yogesh Sheetal joins us from Mumbai. Yogesh, a very good afternoon to you. Tell us about the weather updates. What latest are you getting for us and what has been predicted as far as rainfall is concerned?
Good afternoon, Siddharth. See, going by region, I must tell you that in Konkan region, particularly in Sindhudurg, orange alert has been issued, and also the IMD has issued alert to the fishermen and warned them not to venture on and off the coast. And also for Ratnagiri, from tomorrow onwards, orange alert has been issued for tomorrow. It is very important to see that how the entire monsoon moves upwards, because we have seen recently in region wise, we have seen that in Vidarbha there are 11 districts which were under yellow alert. Also coming to Mumbai, which is in the coastal city, Mumbai is also witnessing intermittent rains, and the pace of rain, we can say the monsoon has intensified over the last few days. However, this time climate is very clear. You can see the traffic movement is also as usual. There is no interruption, disturbance, any kind of inconvenience to the people. Basically, commuters, office goers, from whether they are the railway travelers or through bus. So there is no traffic inconvenience as of now due to water logging in any areas. So the things are very much in control. Yes, one concern is still there, because in Mumbai we have seen the level of water in all 7 lakes that basically provide water to the residential area, particularly all the 7 lakes. The level of water is the lowest in last 10 years. That is a major concern. So people of Mumbaikars and also the authorities, they are expecting a good amount of monsoon this time, so that at least that water scarcity or water cut could be removed, and the citizens of Maharashtra, basically the local people, the residents of Mumbaikars, could get a sufficient supply of water.
Okay, thank you so much, Yogesh, for all those updates. Thank you. Union Ministers Nirmala Sitharaman and L. Murugan condemned Indie Bloc's silence as the death toll in Kalakurchi Hooch tragedy has risen to 58.
34 Dalits are died in that. So still Mallikarjuna Kharge or Rahul Gandhi, or no one is not opened the mouth, or they didn't told anything about that incident. So this attitude of the Indie Bloc is condemnable. Stalin must visit that place. Still 3 days it's over, but still the Stalin are not visited that place. So that's why yesterday our Nirmala Sitharaman madam is demanded the CBI inquiry. The CBI has to be inquire about that issue. The truth will come out who are all there involved in this incident.
Tamil Nadu BJP President K. Annamalai, Tamlisai Soundararajan and other BJP leaders met with Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi at the Raj Bhavan in Chennai and filed a complaint demanding a CBI probe into the Kalakurchi illicit liquor case. The police has arrested Sivakumar, suspected to be one of the main suppliers of methanol to the sellers of illicit liquor. A protest in front of the Kalakurchi Collectorate was led by the leader of opposition and AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi K. Palaniswamy, demanding Chief Minister M.K. Stalin to step down over the Hooch tragedy. All right. And DD India correspondent Anabarsan Elango joins us from Chennai. Hello Anabarsan, a very good afternoon to you. 58 people have so far been killed after consuming illicit liquor. Why there is silence from Indie bloc? Union Ministers Nirmala Sitharaman and L. Murugan also condemned this silence. What's latest do you have on this?
As you are aware that the tragedy of Kallapurchi Hooch tragedy, the death has been continuously rising, and the leaders of BJP and particularly the Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman yesterday issued a statement and said that the government of DMK didn't take any action on that, and they are actually not allowing a CPI inquiry onto this. And particularly the today Union Minister L. Murugan outside the Parliament has said that the government, which is filed in all the category of drug and illicit liquor, and condemning this, and also particularly demanding for the CPI inquiry. Same BJP leader K. Annamalai and also the other leaders like including Communists on the right member went to meet the PM Governor R.N. Rathi today and also given a memorandum regarding that issue of inquiry on the CBI inquiry on this issue, and also the resignation of the state prohibition minister Mr. Swami.
Okay.
JP Nadda, National President of BJP, has wrote a letter to the Congress chief Mallikarjuna Kharge regarding this. The DMK bloc is silent on this, and there is no voice from the Congress, particularly from Rajiv Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, because the government, the DMK governments didn't have any issue and they didn't take any action on that. And also the JP Nadda given a statement, a strong statement that it's a kind of state-sponsored issue, and also the DMK government didn't take any action on that. And particularly, he highlighted that there is a nexus between DMK and also the illicit liquor mafia. So the continuous, and also he's highlighted the last year, the Marakanam Chengalpattu, where 22 people have died. So he also make a connection that so the government didn't take any action on that. So the tragedy has been continuously going on, particularly continuous arrest on right now. After the Kallapurchi incident, then only the government, the state government is arresting and valuing all the places. So this is a kind of action that the DMK government.
All right, Anabarsan.
It should be taken before that.
All right,
thank you.
All right, Anabarsan. Thank you so much for all those updates. The World Health Organization and Indian Ministry of Ayush organized a consultative meet on research topics in traditional Indian medicine. Several issues such as intellectual property rights and standardization of alternate medicine therapies were discussed.
This is under the Ministry of Environment. And in that they are looking at what stage of the plant-based product or Ayurvedic product do we need to look at intellectual property rights and ownership? Is it at the level of protein? Is it at the level of DNA or RNA? At what level? And in this context, we need to follow some of the discussions which is also happening in the Ministry of Environment and the Convention on Biodiversity, because that is going to have a major impact on our research aspects over here in Ayurveda.
Capacity building at various levels is extremely important, and all the Ayush chairs now we have, they are bringing expertise from different disciplines. Already CCRS has an array of institutions across India. There also capacity is present.
All right, let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Britain's Manchester airport resumed operations on Sunday after widespread power outage caused disruptions at Terminal 1 and 3. Airport has confirmed that the cancelled flights will be rescheduled soon. The cause of outage remains unknown. 4 people, including a nurse, was killed in a mass shooting at a grocery store in Arkansas. The gunman was apprehended by the police and will be charged with 4 counts of capital murders. The cause for shooting is yet to be determined. Japan celebrated the third birthday of twin giant pandas on Sunday with fanfare at Tokyo's Ueno Zoological Gardens. The panda twins have been contributing more than 30 billion yen, approx $1.9 million to the country's economy since their birth in 2021. And still to come on DD India News Hour. England, South Africa book semi-final spot from Group 2. Co-host West Indies misses out in a thrilling finish to Proteas. Indian paddler Srija Akula creates history, becomes first Indian to win World Table Tennis Contender singles title.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, DC.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. India's Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Nirmala Sitharaman, chaired the 6th pre-budget consultation in New Delhi on Monday with representatives of trade unions and labour organisations to gather suggestions for the forthcoming General Budget 2024-25. The pre-budget consultation meeting was also attended by Secretaries of Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Labour and Employment and Chief Economic Advisor, Government of India. A report on developing India as the manufacturing hub for electronics components and sub-assemblies by the Confederation of Indian Industry has projected an increase in demand for electronic components and sub-assemblies in India by 2030. According to the report, in 2022-23, the demand for components and sub-assemblies stood at $45.5 billion to support $102 billion worth of electronics production. This demand is expected to scale to $240 billion production by 2030. The report also recommended the government to take key actions, including introducing a scheme to provide fiscal support and imposing import tariffs on components like camera modules. With the right policy support, India can leverage its skilled workforce and emerging capabilities to capture a larger share of this high potential market, including job creation to the tune of approximately 2.8 lakh by 2026. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded the GST on marking 7 years and said that the introduction of GST resulted in significant savings for the poor and common man. Taking to X, PM Modi said, and I quote, "For us, reforms are a means to improve the lives of 140 crore Indians. After the introduction of GST, goods for household use have become much cheaper. This has resulted in significant savings for the poor and common man. We are committed to continuing this journey of reforms to transform people's lives." All right, you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for sports updates, and for that, my colleague Deepika Mehto is here. Deepika, a very good afternoon to you. A lot is happening in sports, especially in cricket, and especially if I talk about the India-Australia match. It's a revenge-seeking match. What do you say? How do you analyze that match for us?
Well, there is nothing to lose for Team India if we talk about today's match. There is a lot to lose for Team Australia. So let's quickly begin with all the latest from ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup. So India and Australia will clash in the Super 8 in St. Lucia on Monday, and a victory for India would jeopardize Australia's chances of reaching the ICC T20 Cricket World Cup semi-final spot. Meanwhile, Rohit Sharma's team is well positioned to advance to the last 4 stages. Let's take a look at this report.
India is set to take on Australia in a highly anticipated high-stakes showdown at the Darren Sammy National Cricket Stadium in Cross Islet. Men in Blue would be keen to avenge the loss to the Aussies in the ICC World Cup held in India last year. Australia finds itself in a desperate need of a win after suffering a historic defeat to Afghanistan. Permutations and combination will be worked out by both teams going into this crucial encounter. For India, there is little reason to alter their lineup, which features 3 spinners. A key focus will be on Rohit Sharma, who has been dismissed 3 times by left-arm fast bowler in this T20 World Cup. Australia will like to exploit this with Mitchell Starc, who could use the windy condition to swing the ball into the right-hander. However, without movement, Rohit could take advantage of the short square boundaries. Australia will rely on Adam Zampa for controlling overs from 7th to 16th. Zampa has been exceptional, taking 11 wickets at less than 6 runs per over in this tournament. However, he faces a challenge in Surya Kumar Yadav, who has scored 54 runs off just 27 balls against Zampa in 4 T20 innings, with only 1 dismissal. Australia also need to improve its fielding after a poor performance against Afghanistan. For India, Arshdeep Singh and Jasprit Bumrah are expected to maintain their consistency, using the win to their advantage. With their game finely tuned following consecutive wins against Afghanistan and Bangladesh, India is ready for the challenge ahead. Group 1 of the Super 8s is heading towards a thrilling finale. India and Australia have a history of delivering thrilling encounter on the biggest stage. India has had the upper hand, winning 19 out of the 31 matches played against Australia in the T20 international format. This includes a commanding 4-1 series victory at home in the last bilateral series in November-December 2023. With Prasar Bharati, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from St. Lucia.
And in a thrilling encounter at the ongoing T20 Cricket World Cup, South Africa defeated West Indies by 3 wickets in a rain-curtailed match to officially secure their spot in World Cup semi-final. Now chasing a revised target of 123 in 17 overs, South Africa lost their openers early but got back on track with Heinrich Klaasen's 21-run cameo off 9 balls. However, West Indies kept on scalping wickets and made it a thrilling encounter. Now, in the end, the Proteas chased down the target with 5 balls to spare and 3 wickets in hand. With this victory, South Africa joined England from Group 2 in the semi-finals of the tournament. Staying on cricket, Chris Jordan starred with a hat-trick before Jos Buttler made mockery of United States' paltry total of 115 in England's 10-wicket victory in Barbados on Sunday. Buttler scored 83 not out of 38 balls as the defending champions chased down 116 runs target in just 9.4 overs to qualify for the semi-finals. Earlier, Jordan edged his name in the history books by becoming the first England bowler to claim a hat-trick as the side bowled out United States for 115 runs in 18.5 overs. Now, USA's loss on Sunday was their 3rd on the trot in the Super 8, and that put an end to their dream run of the tournament. Moving on, Srija Akula became the first Indian paddler to win a WTT contender singles title as she beat Ding Yilche of China by 4-1 in the final in Lagos, Nigeria. The India #2 paddler, along with Arjuna Kamath, defeated compatriots Divya Chitale and Yashaswini Ghorpade by 3-0 to clinch the women's doubles crown as well. Srija and Arjuna had won 3-0 against Asian Games bronze medalist Aika Mukherjee and Sutirtha Mukherjee in semi-finals. Srija, Arjuna, Harmeet and Manav are part of the Indian table tennis squad for the upcoming Paris Olympics, which will be led by Sharat Kamal and Manika Batra. On to football, striker Nicholas Fulkrug's powerful header came off the bench to grab an equaliser against Switzerland on Sunday that sends Germany through to the last 16 of Euro 2024. Swiss forward Dan had threatened to spoil the party with the first half opener, but Germany are now on a 7-game unbeaten run stretching back to November and kept plugging away until the equaliser eventually came through. Now, it denied the Swiss what would have been a second victory over Germany in 22 competitive matches dating back to 1959, but their passage through to the last 16 is also secure. Now, Germany topped the pool with 7 points from their 3 games, 2 ahead of Switzerland, while Hungary must wait to see if they will advance as one of the best third-place teams following a 1-0 victory over eliminated Scotland. So that was a quick wrap from the world of sports. Back to you, Siddharth.
Well, thank you so much for all those updates in the world of sport, Deepika. I'm personally excited for India-Australia match, which is set to begin in the evening. Thank you so much. Well, the China-Malaysia Film Culture Festival held an event at Dadi Cinema Pavilion in Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur. The opening film of the event was Victims, directed by Laila Yi. Other films screened at the event included Small Town Heroes, Sheriff, Private Sweep, the movie Emperor, Born to Fly, No More Bets, Wandering Earth 2, Creations of the Gods 1, Kingdom of the Storms, and One and Only. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.